The worst story I ever heard, in any of my interviews was when I interviewed Quentin Miller, and he said he signed his first publishing deal for like $30,000 to Tricky Stewart and The Dream. Yeah. He went on to do like I think 9 Drake records.
Yeah.
He did not get one penny from any of those Drake records.
Damn, that's why Tricky rich.
Heard that, yeah.
That's why Tricky getting all that money. Damn, Tricky.
That's why Tricky's rich.
There
you go, man. There you go. It wasn't until recently he had to almost like start over with these Nas records and everything else like that. But all those Drake records, which made millions and millions and millions of dollars, he did not see one penny out of that shit.
Ooh. Wow.
Whoa.
Now, James, you've signed publishing deals before.
Yeah. I mean, it's publishing is your ownership. It's what stake you have in the actual product. Like with me, I've been fortunate enough to have a pretty hefty percentage in a lot of the records I've been involved with. So, when I signed my publishing deal, it was favorable in on my side. Like I had a 70-30 split, which was crazy back then. They don't do that damn near no more. But it afforded me different opportunities, so now I can have records being submitted for sync licensing and film, television, commercials, whatever we can get the income. That's what happened with that. So, that was my whole objective of even signing a publishing deal, was just let's get the catalog as big as we can make it.
That's amazing.
Well, Gipp, you've talked about, various verses, like for example, you talked about, Jermaine Dupri and Puffy, and you've always given it to Jermaine Dupri in terms of overall skill level. Recently DJ Envy was talking about a potential, verses, an imaginary verses between 50 Cent and Lil Wayne. You guys, with your point of view, who would you say would win that versus?
Lil Wayne.
Why is that?
Yeah.
Simply because his catalog is too long. It's too long. And I love Fifth. I love him to death. But he would need about 5 of them goddamn Get Rich or Die Tryin albums to go against Wayne. Simply because Wayne got mixtapes that are motherfucking, they go. You know what I mean? They're fucking part of culture. How many people, how many records he's at? Well, you go from just a Cash Money situation, like he's on Bling Bling to start off is one of your biggest records. Like that shit changed culture. Like he got so many records that he's on that changed culture, and I think 50 got that good run of that first and second album. But Wayne has the Cash Money catalog, then he has the Wayne, then we go to the Carter catalog. It's just he just got too many records, And then he was so about trying to be as lyrical and as ahead of everyone as Jay was looked at in the South. He wanted that position, he wanted that seat, and I think he earned it, and he got it eventually. You know what I mean? That he's one of the best that ever do it lyrically from the South. So if you just look at his catalog along with his features, it's real hard to beat him because he got a lot of radio hits and rap hits, and then just straight 2 Chainz. You go all the way down the list, 2 Chainz. It's like, he got so many hits that just hit in so many areas that I think Fifth got a good strong 10. Even might inch out about 13, but Wayne at least sitting on 40 records that and touch the radio. Because if you look at just the number one hit list, who's had the most number one hits? It's Future, Wayne, Drake. I mean, it's no New York artist in the top 5. So you gotta look at that just as a reference point of how many records, how many number one records, and it's kind of like Drake, Future, and Wayne, and and they all those two right there, they damn near can
And
possibly.
plus Wayne went pop too.
Yeah.
He went crossover.
Yeah.
So like, I don't think 50 got a lollipop.
Yeah, Lollipop was
Wait. In the club was a giant record. Giant record.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a giant record, but okay.
Absolutely.
After In the Club, you got the Game record. The Game record was big.
You got Candy Shop. That's
You
a
got
700
Candy
million
Shop was
streams.
big.
Yeah.
PIMP, 600 million
was
views.
big.
Disco
That
Inferno,
first album
I
was
mean,
really just
Hits.
hit after hit after hit.
I mean, but like a Millie, like
Yeah.
I don't know if 50 could go
Yeah.
against that.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna switch it up for you though.
All right.
I just thought of something. Here we go. A versus with Lil Wayne and Eminem.
Ooh. Well, that's probably the only yeah. He probably the only one you can pull out for Wayne, Vlad.
Yeah.
You can't really do nothing about Elvis, man. That's Elvis now. Elvis can go sell out the Coliseum, ain't got to drop an album, never. So, it's just, hey, man, hats off to M, bro. I just always feel like a lot of people want to take it from him, and I look at it like this. Any kid that can come from the rough side of Detroit, the trailer parks, and walk his ass up into St. Andrews and get into ciphers with known gangsters and gain your respect, you got to take your hats off to that. And to me, if you put him up against any rapper you and put him on the track with, he ain't ate him.
Yeah.
He ate him.
Yeah.
Who you want to name? who you want to name? He ate him.
So who was the last beef he was with? What, MGK?
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
he ate him, bro. Like don't play with him. Leave him alone. He's proving the point. Like and nobody mad at him. You got to wait till the next lifetime.
Right. I mean, I actually looked up
his.
I looked him up on Spotify. His top 10 songs on Spotify, 7 of those songs have over 1 billion views.
1 billion?
1 billion with a B.
Jesus. See, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing you would say about 50. Like a lot of people say this person bigger than 50 in the States, but if you go around the world, M and 50, Outkast, it's not too many people that just go around the world and do big old festivals and people understand and heard the music and love the music. I don't care who you is. That's a very, very small
They
group
don't
of
even
people.
speak the language.
They don't speak the language. Like,
Crazy.
You know what I mean? So, nah, bro, like, Eminem, shit, the greatest tour on the earth would probably be an Eminem and Drake tour. Wow. What kind of building that need to be in?
Okay, all right, hold on. Okay, Eminem. Okay, so hold on. This is actually a good point. A versus between Eminem and Drake.
Hey,
I'm all for that.
I think that would be kind of like the biggest verses you could put together because those two have broken the ceiling on what it is that a rapper is supposed to be able to do. And I think Drake, you have never seen an artist stay hot for 10 years straight.
Mm-hmm.
That man.
The only person I put with a run like that would be Future.
And Future.
Yeah.
Future is the only one. So outside of those two, I don't know if anybody else equipped to deal with Elvis, a.k.a. Eminem. I just don't. It's not too many people got that kind of catalog or got that kind of range. And yeah, you could say because of this or because of that, but hey, man, them songs, and when somebody write a record that breaks the skin, it doesn't matter who wrote it. A hit don't got to have a face or a name to it. It's a hit. And that man got too many to name at this point.
Yeah, and Future came out of the Dungeon family.
True that. And just for him to just be up there right now selling out tours all over the United States with AG, with Alex them, man, like, it's a beautiful thing to see just like, wow, like, from the Dungeon, Outkast, Goody Mob, and then for the last installment, you see Future. Like, that's why I tell people all the time, bro, like, I'm not tripping over nothing, because the dungeon is alive and well. You know what I mean? They just free band. You know what I mean? It's just,
meathead and free band.
You know what I mean? Man, Shawty know, man, I love him to death, man, because he out here really, really standing on this A-Town shit. He pushing the envelope. And I think one thing that he learned from just watching Goody Mob and Outkast is never stop. Never stop. Never stop going in the studio, you know. Both of us, you know, I think Goody Mob and Outkast, we dealing with a whole nother thing, because we dealing with fame. Like, damn, this is what famous feel like. And then, damn, we got to keep going. But at the same time, I could tell you that, shit, bro, like, we got tired after that 10th year, that 11th year. You know, like, you know, it was hard, you know. After the 10th and 11th year, and really putting out album after album after album, that's why you didn't get another Outkast album to 2010, because we had so much success, you know, before you had the emergence of, you know, other members of the Dungeon. So it's like, it's fun to sit back and watch everything Future's doing right now. It's fun, because, you know, it's almost like, wow, like, you know, if didn't nobody pay attention, he did. so like, you know, it makes us, and it gives me also the reason why I think me and James' album and our music is just so different is because I can look at him and what he doing, and it gives me space to go over here and do something else. Like, I'm not supposed to be doing what Future and his generation is doing. What I'm supposed to do is find a space that is grown and still represent hip-hop. And I think that's what Gipp and Worthy is, because this is the first time that I just got on 5 songs that just spoke to women. You know what I mean? And I think at this point in hip-hop, it has to be a level, like, I'm looking at this, like, Gipp, you now in the area of soft rock, like rock and roll. Like, you a rock and roll person, now you soft rock, pimp. You got it's Phil Collins and shit. So I'm on that. Like, it's no age and no ceiling on talking about love and talking to a woman. And I'm looking at it like right now in hip hop, that's one space and one area that me and James can really run down, and we don't have no competition in it. So I feel like, as an older MC and an older person in just music itself, I'm comfortable in that space. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to go on. Like, you think about it, you be like, okay, that's the difference between Goody Mob. It's like, people ask me all the time, like, how do you feel about doing your music now? I said, you know what? That's a great question, because if you think about it, when Goody Mob came out, they was mad at us because we was talking like we were grown men and we were kids. So now, me being a grown man, being on stage doing what we wrote as kids, I feel totally comfortable because I wrote it in the mind frame of a grown man. So Goody Mob is booked to 2024 all over the world. So for me personally, I'm just glad that every time I get on stage, I don't feel like an old man doing my shit. I don't feel like I'm an older artist. I feel right at home. So to have this with James, to find a whole new place and be accepted, it again, as I look at my career, I found another way to prolong my career and reinvent myself. And that's special.
Well, you've talked about in your interviews how you like the level of fame that you have, where you could go to a grocery store and, you know, go shopping, and, you know, maybe someone might come up to you and ask for a picture, but you could generally live your life.
Yeah.
Now, Andre 3000, he's done some interviews, you know, we talked about after Hey Ya, he just couldn't deal with the publicity. He didn't like it. And I think he said something to the effect of, he said that fame is like the amount of life that you sacrifice for your career, or something to that extent, yes. Where you don't see him out. You see him occasionally show up with like a flute, and then like he'll disappear for the next 2 years.
Yeah. And he right out there beside you, Vlad. He right out there. He right out there around the corner.
Yeah, exactly.
Just go to Venice Beach. You might catch him.
Right. Yeah.
You know what it is, Vlad? What people don't understand is that when he did Hey Ya, it put him into the stratosphere next to artists that we would look at, next to artists like Lenny Kravitz. Like, now you into that rock and roll hierarchy, whereas people are looking at you like, wow, you just went and damn near did some shit like the Beatles, like right now, and put some rap shit on it. Like, fuck. You know what I mean? So the industry was like, boy, if you give us 10 more of these hoes, boy, woo. So, but it was just almost like coming from just the fame of just being a famous rapper to now you in them Lenny Kravitz boots. You know what I mean? And it was like, oh shit, like this is a whole nother thing. Cause you know, when you get up in that area, you need to know who been playing guitars and this, that, and the other, and that, and this. It's like, it's part of common conversation. But him coming like, man, I did this shit the way I do shit, and it turned into this. And to be 6, 7, 8 weeks #1 overseas, like, not too many artists can say they ain't did that before. And that you produced and wrote the record. So I just think that all of the press that came along with him being able to turn into this artist and having to take on the workload of being an artist at this stage, it made him be like, man, damn this shit. Like, hey, man, I came in here to rap, man. Y'all tripping, man. You know what I mean? So you got to understand, he kind of like, I don't want this shit, bro. Like, I'm cool, you know what I mean? That's what it took him so long to even go on stage and perform the album, because it was so big at the time, bro. Like, they probably turned down $100 million just on shows. You know what I mean? At that time when that record came out. It was just like, you got to realize he put the record out. We in L.A., they win 6 Grammys, and he went dark. Because everybody wanted him then, and he was just like, oh, nah. Dre do some shit like go to Japan and stay for a month. Just living in the city, just chilling, just walking around, having dinner at the coffee shop. Just because don't nobody know him. Ain't nobody bothering him. And I just think that he finds comfort in just being normal. And I think a lot of people don't understand that, you know, being in this business, man, like once you get to a certain level of fame, man, the old you is gone forever. And that's just a sacrifice that you have to take on in the music business. And I'm going to tell you, man, even it's some great artists out there that's got to the point of where I just don't want this no more. Like, I'd rather just go on, just get me a little something in the country, drive a little pickup truck and go to the corner store and leave this fame shit alone, because, you know, it's not about just the music anymore. You know what I mean? And I think that's what he got. Like, you know, this shit about what business you got and how much millions you made and who you married to. It's just so much shit that started happening in his true life. And I think all of our lives, that it just made him be like, damn, bro, like, the only way I can just be normal is to walk away. Yeah. And you know what I mean? So, you know, a lot of people just be like, wow, how'd you walk away from the money? How'd you walk away from the money? It's just like, bro, everybody don't live for money. Like, the man been rich since he 18. Money ain't the situation.
And once you reach a certain amount of money, you do hit somewhat of a plateau.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, all right, I live in a mansion. I drive whatever I want to drive. I got millions in my bank account. You know, am I willing to sacrifice to get to $1 billion? Because that's not an easy jump. Right. To go from a millionaire to a billionaire is not something that just naturally happens.
Right.
It has to be a lot of sacrifice, and it has to really, you have to give up a lot. You know, like, for example, I've never liked fame myself, which is why I'm always behind the camera.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I like to be able to move around without security 24/7. But, you know, and I've tried to hide behind that. But, you know, the longer I do it, the more my pictures just show up for me walking around, and, you know, weird shit happens. But it's like, I try, you know, people ask, why are you behind the camera? Because I'm trying to maintain a lower level of fame as opposed to a higher level. If I really wanted to be famous, I'd be in every one of my interviews, like Adam 22, you know, or in academics. But I choose not to, because that's not really what I want to do out of my life. And I'm going to turn 50 this year. Like, I'm cool. I want to be less famous than I am right now.
Hey, man.
You know, but it's not possible, unfortunately.
Vlad, I never wanted to be a solo artist. Like, all that kind of shit. Like, bro, like, I've always just been about the group. Like, let me do my little bit and let me get out the way. Like, you know, it's just better that way. And, you know, that's why I look at just dealing with fame. And even when it comes to me and James, I'm like, this shit done turned up. Like, in the last month, we dropped this album. I ain't did this much press in a long time. And I'm just like, damn, I'm a little older. The shit. I was like, goddamn, we got another one? You know what I mean? So just like, for me personally, I'm like, I'm understanding that the workload increases, you know, and having to be camera ready and all that kind of stuff. When, you know, when you creating, man, you could be in pajamas. And you know, so it's like, and that's how we did this album basically. It's like he would be like, "Yo, I got this record, Gipp," and I would just go home to the country, get on the porch, and write it, watching the dog or something. You know what I mean? And then one day he called me, he was like, "Gipp, I think we got something," and I'm like, "Huh?" He was like, "I think we got something," and he put it together for us. You know what I mean? So, because to tell you the truth, Vlad, an artist in my position, I just really do it when a younger artist asks me to do it. OG, I love you, man. Just fuck with me. I do that. You know what I mean? It don't got to be about money. But when it's gearing up to get back out here in the system, like if it wasn't James, I don't know who would have been able to get me to do this. Because it's like, it's so much to come along with it. It's like, and then I'm like, if I say the wrong thing, then I'm hurting people's feelings, and I'm just like, bro, like, you gotta understand, I'm from a whole nother galaxy. This shit is all the way new to me. So I'm fine. I just wanted to just prove to the industry and prove to other brothers that might be from my era and still here that, hey, man, there is no age limit on doing great music. It's just about you channeling and getting back in the groove of doing it. You know what I mean? And I just wanted me and him just to prove, like, James and Gipp went in the studio and created a vibe. And I just wanted to prove to all the real talented people that it can happen. Again, this is the real magic. Not when 30 people in the room trying to give you the records and tell you what to say and do this and take 5 people to write one verse. It's like, no. When truly talented individuals connect, then you have the magic of real music that people will live and die by.
Mm-hmm. That's what it is. Big Gipp and James Worthy, man.
Yes,
appreciate you guys coming in.
Thank you.
Very dope project. For everyone who's watching this right now, definitely stream it on your favorite service, whether it's Spotify or Apple Music or YouTube and so forth. And I just love to see the OGs of, you know, the people that I listened to before I got into the music industry, when my love for music was just so pure. You know what I mean? It wasn't about, oh, can I interview this person, or, you know, this person talks shit about me on social media, so I don't like them. You know what I mean? Which happens once you're in the music industry. You got to meet them, that they may not have shaken your hand or whatever. It's like, yo, I'm just, you know, when Goody Mob's first album came out, when Outkast's first album came out, I was in college. I just loved hip hop. I'd been a lifetime hip hop head. I'd been a break dancer. You know what I'm saying? Like I bought Run DMC's first albums. I bought, you know, The Message when it first came out on vinyl, and to hear these monumental songs that are still important today, to see artists like you continue to put down dope projects, to work with people like James and bring in that new energy of, like, you know, where, because James's stuff is not traditional rapping. It's really more kind of a singing,
Yes,
kind of vibe.
Yes.
You know, and to really kind of combine those two, where Big Gipp still sounds like Big Gipp. He's not trying to sound like a 2023 Big Gipp. He still sounds like the Big Gipp we've always known and loved. Yeah. And to hook up with a younger artist and producer and to create these types of projects, man, I think is dope. And I want to continue to hear, you know, you guys doing stuff like this.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
we got a lot more.
Thank you so much,
Thank you,
King.
Vlad.
That's what it is, man. Until next time. Peace.
Yay.